and we are back at PAX on the expo floor. I'm here with the creative director behind Dragon Age Inquisition, Mr. Mike Laidlaw.
Hi, folks.
And his good buddy who's going to demo the game, Devon. He's a little bit scared to be on TV, so I'm just bringing that up right now so he looks even more scared. I've got the awesome wings on from Dragon Age here. But, Mike, let's get into talking a bit about Dragon Age Inquisition because everyone out there is super pumped about this game.
Yep.
I noticed you've got a T-shirt on here. What is this? Tell us a bit about this first.
So I wanted to dress up a bit, but I decided I needed to celebrate the Dragon Age Keep because it just launched. And the Keep is totally free, web-based solution for us to say, if you haven't played Dragon Age before or if you want to kind of capture the world that you created in the previous two games. The Keep lets you go on the web and make the decisions that really shape that world, like who's the king of Ferelden, who lived, who died, who slayed the Archdemon. You go through, you can actually see like a story summary narrated out in Varric's voice and end up with a really cool personalized view, share it with your friends and so on. And then when you get Inquisition, later this month, well, next month, I guess. We're on the cusp. Then it'll basically go online and just grab that Keep right then and there, so you can set it up ahead of time and get going. And this is the Chantry being exploded from DA2,
awesome.
Which I guess it makes a statement.
Yeah,
I don't know
it
what
makes a statement for sure.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean that's one of the massive things about Dragon Age, the story and the choices that you get to make. So
absolutely,
this Dragon Age Keep. There's going to be, people should be on it right now. Get on there. You can get on there now. Where's the website?
It's got completely open beta. It's at DragonAgeKeep.com.
Easy.
You can dive in, sign up for it. You tie it to your Origin account, and then that way Dragon Age Inquisition knows where to find it.
As soon as you chuck in Dragon Age Inquisition, there's your story there from before.
Yeah, like literally as you begin.
Awesome.
It's great.
That's so good. So what about here at PAX this year? If you're watching in Australia and you're going to come down, is there any sort of Dragon Age Inquisition stuff that we should be keeping an eye on?
We're doing an interesting mix, right? We go big and go small. And small I love because you get to sit down and chat with folks. I had a guy, he tweeted me when I was flying over here, and he's like, if I bring you a Canary, will you sign it? And I'm like, yeah. And then he did. He brought his art book, and,
awesome.
I signed all the Canary pages for him. So we're up at the EA Community Lounge, which is kind of tucked away. It's this little intimate setting.
All right.
No red lights, but otherwise fairly intimate. And we're doing little demos. Devin was driving the game an hour ago. People got a chance to check it out. Signings, Q&As, that kind of stuff. And then later today, we've got the big panel where we're talking about storytelling. I'm bringing some of the guys who do the Big Explore stuff. Getting them to talk about how we integrated the big open world and our multi-region approach into the game that feels still like a BioWare story, and how we did that.
And what time is that on?
5:30 tonight. It's at, I forget which theater, but it's one of the big ones. Do you remember?
Convention Center over there.
Wombat. Of course
Wombat.
it is.
Of course, Wombat. We were just talking about Wombats with the Berserker guys.
There we go.
There we go. It all ties back nicely. Well, I think what we should do is get Devin to play a little bit, and we'll just talk over the top, and you can run through a few things that you really want to push out there.
Yep.
I mean, there's probably too much to talk about in 25 minutes, but
it's a biggie. So we'll kind of hit some highlights as we go. For those of you who aren't very familiar with Inquisition, I'll kind of give the précis. It is the third game in the Dragon Age series, but it's one we've designed with a brand new character, brand new scenario, and that's how we approach all the DA games. You're always someone new. Devin here has made a dwarven, a really, really badass dwarven Inquisitor with a massive beard. Huge two-handed sword, and he's a warrior. You can swap between weapons. You can build your class any way you want, be a mage. So Devin's we're fighting a little bit of delay here, so he's kind of going to do a world tour slowly here.
He's got the jump in the rock there. Yeah, we're just fighting a little bit of a delay. He's got a beard that kind of matches yours there, Mike. Is that modeled on you, that warrior?
No, that one's a little bit lusher and not quite as post-development. Mine went pretty gray, pretty hard. It's been 3 years we've been working on this. It's been getting worse over time.
Yeah.
But I refuse to color. I'm not that
guy.
That
for men coloring thing. Yeah. None of that.
So Inquisition, one of the big things that helps it stand apart from other RPGs is it's still very focused on full party control, being able to swap, and Devin can dig into a tactical view. You can do this at any time. Do you mind tack cam? Yeah, so you can switch over. You have direct control of your party. You can line up your next actions, give move orders, tell your guys what abilities to use, and do this in combat. Obviously, with the lag, that's going to be a bit tricky. But you can get a good sense. And we've taken this, it was a feature in Origins, only on the PC.
Yeah, that's right.
And we decided, let's take this to the next level, make it for all consoles, all platforms. And
was there a bit of, was there a response for that? Did people want to see that in the game?
The PC players in particular were really upset it wasn't in Dragon Age 2. They really were, and I get that feedback. And So we decided, hey, we're moving to Frostbite 3. It's a brand new engine. Let's make that one of our goals. Because if we go party first, party control is a nice subset of that.
Sure.
And as a result, then, when you're in combat, you can play both in real time, kind of a pseudo pause and play, real time pause and play. And you can really play any way you want, play any character. And as you go through, you've got this awesome experience where you've got your character who starts out founding the Inquisition to try and uncover who's behind a massive disaster. And once you've done that, the Inquisition grows and expands over time. Rather than just being an organization that you join and you get the membership card, it's more like, no, what if you were there on the day one? And what would that feel like? So it gives a very unique twist on something that otherwise could be kind of formulaic, but it actually makes it feel super distinct.
Excellent, excellent. So where's Devon at now? Is this a bit of the combat we're going to see here?
Yeah, so the area we're in is called the Hinterlands, and this is kind of the outskirts. It's actually near the village of Redcliffe, which appeared in previous games. In here, this area has become a battleground. The Templars have broken away from the church. The mages have broken away from their circles. They're fighting. They've all gone rogue. And you receive word that there's a character named Mother Giselle, and if you can come here, she might be able to help you start getting on the Chantry's good side, being more political. So you come here, and this place is kind of a battleground. You know, groups coming in, your Inquisition soldiers fighting alongside. They're the green bars.
Yeah.
So you have allies. You can see new destructible, breaking the carts and that kind of stuff, using them for cover, but only for so long. And as you go through this area, Devon's going to try and basically claim it back from the mages, Templars, and make kind of a beachhead that the Inquisition can use, draw refugees, start using that to spread your good name, draw recruits, gather that kind of thing. And you'll see the area will change after we manage to complete this sequence.
Right.
That's a big thing for us, is evolving areas.
I mean, you can tell the visuals are spectacular.
Huge jump from the previous games.
I love the beards, of course, and most people do like the beard support that always comes in these games nowadays. But this combat system here, we're going through. Is this any different to the previous games? Is there any new elements? Do people have to start from the scratch, essentially?
It's got the same fundamentals, which is party working together, always more effective than anyone working solo. Teamwork is critical. But in terms of the way it plays, it's a balance somewhere between what we did in Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2. So it's a little different, but not like Alien. The end result then is that the combat's a lot more weighty. It's got a lot more heft to it when you go through the fights. But at the same time, you have new challenges like this guy here is heading off. He's attacking one of our soldiers, which is perfect. We're going to get him from behind, but that shield will deflect those magical bolts if we start hitting him from up front. So suddenly you're worried more about positioning, maneuvering. The enemies now have stealth rogue characters who will circle around behind to try to take out your mages. They fight a lot smarter than they used to.
Yeah, okay. And is that a benefit of the upgrade in Frostbite as well as just the technology, I guess?
It's huge. It's huge tech. It's really, really having the team dedicated to having the enemies work more intelligently. And one of the big advantages and disadvantages is that with you move to Frostbite, we had to retool everything from the ground up. But we had some very solid ideas, some very clear goals, what we wanted to achieve. And so when you've got an experienced team building towards a clear goal, they can do some pretty wondrous stuff because there's no baggage, right? You just clean it out and say, okay, if we wanted to achieve X, how do we get there?
Sure.
And then suddenly you're doing that.
Yeah, okay. And what about size in terms of size of the world?
It's enormous, would be the summary.
Yeah.
So the world itself is what we call multi-region open world. You can play through the game and visit the hinterlands, then move to a desert, then move to the coastline. All of these areas kind of have their own story. They have their own kind of overarching quest, their own opportunities. And each of them is a place that's of significance to the Inquisition. So as your influence spreads, you can see actually here we've secured the hinterlands, and we're going to establish the crossroads as really the first outpost of the Inquisition. You get a nice cinematic to celebrate that. Everybody's kind of recovering. So as you move between the regions, then you'll see more of these kind of things, places for you to have influence, spots where the enemy are, they've established some sort of stronghold, and you need to take it back from them, and each has their own feel.
Yeah.
And then once you've earned kind of enough power to make your Inquisition able to act, then you can advance the story and take it to its next step. Okay, we need to get in that fortress. Well, we're going to need enough power to lay siege to it. And the story then has this massive sweeping arc, but you always feel like you earned it and earned it in your own way because of just how much content there is for you to explore.
Yeah, and I mean, in all those kind of open world multi-regional games, you can do it your own way every time, can't you? I mean, you don't have to go through the stronghold super barbaric and lopping heads off, you can come around the back.
Yep, and our big goal has always been to say, look, there's more game than you have to play, but there's lots you'll want to, right? So the end result being, you may finish this game, and there may be a region you've never even visited, right? And that's possible.
Okay.
But hey, you might finish the game and then decide, I'm going to go there, find a massive dragon, and go fight him because you're at end game strength and you're ready to go.
Yeah. Okay. So dragons.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We do. Well, I mean, you need that when you call your game Dragon Age, don't you?
Yeah,
So.
they're massive. In fact, we have more dragons in Dragon Age than we've had in the entire previous games combined.
Right. People clamor for dragons. I think it's a Game of Thrones thing.
It is. They're this like apex predator. They're like the ultimate challenge, right? You know, put on your Savari helmet and go after the rhino, I guess, which is terrible. Don't do that.
No rhino killing. None.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
But
endangered.
the dragons, they move into a territory and they start burning everything, right? The peasants, the thatch roof cottages, you name it.
They don't discriminate.
Exactly. They're hungry all the time.
Execute me.
And so when you encounter them in Inquisition, often they're way too tough for you to tackle. They're bigger than you. They don't scale level, so they're living at like level 15, and you're level 3. Hi, Devin tried to tackle one in morning playthrough and got. Well, the dragon didn't even have to land to kill him. I just literally looked at him, shot a giant breath, and boom, they were done.
Yeah. Right.
But they do represent essentially like this huge opportunity. If you can bring one down, that's huge for your Inquisition. Everyone like, the Inquisitor's a dragon slayer. That's awesome. They tend to have the loot of the stuff that they've eaten, other adventurers, that kind of stuff. So they tend to have some pretty sweet gear.
There's some history in those stomachs.
Oh, there is. There really is. And each one has their own kind of area, their own hunting ground. And when you approach, you can see them. They make their presence known, and they're usually quite upset. And they present like hand-scripted challenges, each one.
Yeah. Okay. And what are we seeing here? We've got a cutscene going. I know we
Yeah. So in claiming the hinterlands, what we've uncovered is our first move that the Inquisition can make in terms of kind of reaching out and playing the larger political games. So far, there is a politics side of things. You have to get on the side of the nobles. You have to stop the chantry from denouncing you. You have to play this careful game that you're dealing with. And part of that's because we're going to Orlais, which is the much more refined and cultured nation next to Ferelden, where Origins took place.
Yep.
So we wanted to really hit on that sense of when you're being a leader of something this big, it isn't just punching, right? It's also talking. It's being smart. It's having a plan. And as a result, then, we've given you the support not only of your immediate party, but you have 3 advisors, Cullen, Liliana, and Josephine, who assume position around the war table and run your ambassadors, your spies, and your soldiers.
I tweeted out just before I come on the interview, and I was just asking if anyone wanted to ask any specific questions.
Yeah.
I got a couple about DLC.
Okay.
What are the plans there, DLC wise? Do we have any yet? We're still trying to push it out, I guess.
So yeah, no, the game is almost done, but we're in the last kind of certifications, making sure it's ready to ship. So that remains job one. That's basically eyes on the prize.
Sure.
The team needs a little while to recover as well. This has been a long one. One thing we have talked about, so there is a multiplayer mode in Inquisition.
Okay.
It's the same, it's similar combat system, except instead of AI, it's now the whole party is you and 3 friends. You take them in, you go up against your foes, go on adventures, basically go dungeon crawling, and come back with fabulous prizes. And when you do that, you can play through, and there will be loot to find. You can upgrade your guys, upgrade your gear. Anyone who's played Mass Effect will find it very familiar. It's got the same feel as Mass Effect 3's multiplayer. And we have talked about essentially a plan to continue to extend that like we did with Mass Effect, which is to offer free content packs for everyone, a chance for you to see new maps, new characters, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to look at that as like an ongoing service.
Yeah.
And that worked out incredibly well, because by making it free, you don't divide the fan base. You let everybody continue to play with their buddies. And basically, we're going to continue to do play, earn your gold, and get new stuff, and keep supporting that way. And then for single player, we will probably do something for DLC, but right now, everybody on that team is kind of, taking a break.
So multiplayer is kind of, you're going to push that with Inquisition, get people into multiplayer. It doesn't seem like it's one of the Dragon Age tenets, foundations, but
it's the first time we've ever done it from Dragon Age. But the team that worked on the Mass Effect multiplayer, a lot of them came over to help us out. They helped us put together the kind of core precepts and tenets. How do we respect our players? How do we make sure we're not, gouging or anything like that? Because the Mass Effect guys learned some great lessons. And we're very respectful the entire time. And so when we sat down and looked at, Frostbite does support online pretty natively, right? Obviously, it's built for Battlefield. And our combat system is about 4 equals, right? Not like 3 peons and the good guy. It's like 4 equal characters of equal skill. And we said, well, hey, we're building enemies designed to go up against a team. Why couldn't that team all be played by humans, right?
Yeah.
It seemed a fairly logical jump. And while it is new, I think we've got some really good learnings in the studio, some awesome talent, and those guys are all ready to help us out as we go on, going for support. Too.
And that, of course, online and local, or just online?
It's online. We experimented, like would it be possible to do a split screen or something, but simply we're
There's
pretty
too much.
We're redlining everything here. So
Yeah, yeah.
2 render pass, and the PS3 or PS4 just melts to the core of the earth, and you never see it again.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So still going through a bit more combat here.
Yeah, Devin's
Trying to
kind
take
of
another
moving through.
stronghold, is it?
In this case, actually, this is kind of a steady battlefield between the mages and Templars.
Okay.
And another place where the area can evolve. They each have their own kind of strongholds in this area. If you can eliminate them, they'll stop spawning in here. And over time, you can see like all the fires will go out. People start returning. The place becomes safer.
And look at that fire.
I know. The VFX team have done a pretty spectacular
I feel
job.
warm.
Yep.
I feel warm now.
It's soothing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like we're buying open fire. Someone get some marshmallows?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in this case, we're up against fairly small skirmishes. These represent kind of the combats that respawn, the endless kind of struggle. There are also ones that are more crafted, and we've done a lot of handcrafted encounters where the enemies are placed, positioned, using cover intelligently, and so on. And with those, the goal has been to design them so they're almost like puzzles where the more carefully you engage, the better you're going to emerge. The more healthy, the less damage you'll have taken, and so on.
Yeah, sure. And what about like stuff like the weaponry? I read that you can give it to other people. It shapes to their
Absolutely.
body type,
Yeah,
that
so
kind
actually,
of thing.
if we switch in, once we got combat here, Devin can take a look at inventory, and we can take a look at the armor.
Yeah, that'd be
but
good.
we wanted to make sure you could customize your whole party. Oh, yeah, that was a lot of ice mines, man.
Devin's a little bit upset with the lag.
Yeah.
He's better than this.
So we wanted to make sure you could optimize your whole party's look, their experience. You can actually craft new armor for them, new weapons, give them names,
Right.
give them special abilities, and so on, because those all help you personalize the experience.
Yeah, and it adds to the immersion, I guess.
Yeah,
of,
it does. And, the thing that's exciting to me is the idea of, I'm going to go after this dragon that breathes fire. I want to craft a suit of armor that's resistant to fire. Suddenly I've given myself a quest because I'm going to go find the cool metals and leathers that give me all those resistances.
Yeah, awesome.
And I can't do it.
So we got the inventory screen up here.
Yeah. So here we have kind of a basic defender coat. As you move through the armors, they'll change. We got 2 of the mercenaries. Awesome kind of hat for the scouts. And then if we take, say, the defender coat off of him and unequip it, and we move over to another member of our party. All right, and then you'll see the defender coat on the Inquisitor. If we go over to Cassandra, will look different on her. So it will match her basic visual themes, continue to be her, but it'll adopt all of the colors we have. In addition, there's also what we call faction armors. And
Okay.
they don't upgrade in the same way. They don't have the upgradable arms and boots. But if you wanted to have something like the mercenary armor, Cassandra putting that on will also adopt the look of the mercenary. So you can look like a Grey Warden, you can look like a
Yeah,
Templar,
yeah.
and you can find schematics
Awesome.
and then craft those armors out of really exotic materials to make them endgame.
Awesome,
Yep.
awesome. I mean, look at the detail on the armor, just on under her arm there.
Yeah, the surface response on the metal is absolutely fantastic.
That's so
I mean,
good.
it's really the jump in technology and what we've been able to achieve by doing that.
And is weapons the same thing? Do we have
It is.
specific weaponry?
It
I mean,
is.
that's
So,
one of the tenets.
So you can actually use a wide variety of weapons. If we moved over and got a 2-handed sword, we could put that on Cassandra. She could switch over to that. They do have a class restriction. Rogues are bows and daggers. Warriors are sword and shield or 2-hander. Because they have very distinct kind of roles they play in the game. But you can say, hey, Cassandra, I like your sword and shield. You can even respec her, get rid of all her talents, build her back up from the beginning, and say, I'm going to actually have you as full 2-hander, and you're going to be my DPS warrior because that's just who you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to go back to that tactical view again, if we can, and,
Sure, absolutely.
and talk a little bit about that. I mean, it's one of the Origin's most loved features, and I'm glad it's back.
Yeah, a lot of people have feedback on that. I remember we were at PAX Prime when we first unveiled it, and I'm on stage. I'm like, we all know when you're fighting, sometimes you just want a different perspective. And the audience just went, oh! And then we swapped it on, and people just went nuts. It was It was so satisfying because the team that worked on it just busted their asses, right? They got it working. They got all kinds of features in. And so you can use it. Unlike Origins, you're not in a fixed isometric view. You can
actually
pull it in close. You can get almost these awesome little previews. What's he up to? You can also get a sense tactically of what are they good at, what are they not. So he's resistant to this, immune to that, which helps you plan ahead, and let you kind of scout the battlefield.
And it kind of adds that strategy element to it.
It really does, and you can play the entire combat sequences in the game in this mode. And if you do, you're assigning targets. Your characters move forward and auto-attack. They pathfind. And as you can see, when Devin assigns a target, his characters will actually draw their paths they're going to follow and so on.
And you can keep watching from that angle.
Yes.
Any angle you choose.
So you can advance time, continue playing in that mode, and watch it play out and go, oh, wait, I need to move that guy out of here or move him clear of the Dragon's Breath. All again while never leaving this mode, still having free camera control.
And you can see why the crowd went crazy when you unveiled it.
Absolutely.
At PAX,
it's more powerful than the Origins version, and yet I think it still has that old school feel. Harkens back to that kind of quasi-turn-based we had.
Yeah, it reminds me of a turn-based kind of a system, but it's just so fluid in terms of where you can go with that camera and just have that global look on the battlefield. I mean,
it's incredibly
I don't think of another game where that tactical view comes into play in terms of this kind of genre.
It's pretty unique. I mean, you see games that do top-down, they do it exceptionally, like XCOM.
Of course,
and that
XCOM does a great top-down view.
But we knew we were taking on a challenge. I remember my combat lead's withering glare when I said, no, we're going to do both. And he went, okay. Great guy, but he absolutely tackled it. But I mean...
You buy coffee every day then?
We determined very early we wanted it, so we were able to build all our talents to work in it. Evade, being able to roll to the side as a rogue, actually gives you an AOE when you're in tactical, so you can say roll that way or that way or that way, meaning it's just as fully functional as it is in real time.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Just another battle here. I mean, Devin's really been carving up those mercenaries during there.
He has been. He's suffering a little. I mean, that's another big change. We talked about this before, but with Inquisition, every combat matters. It's all part of a longer strategy, and we wanted to move your focus away from one skirmish to actually the kind of sortie or the foray or adventure.
Yeah.
So your health, when it's depleted, will go down and stay down. It doesn't auto-recover. It does to some degree based on difficulty, but if you're playing on hard, it's like 10%. Then you have potions, and you can see Devin's got like a limited count of them. That's kind of his party-wide stock.
Okay.
However, on top of that, you can use our alchemy system to hook up like, I'm going to have regen potions on my tank, stone skin potions to resist damage, and you can have a wide variety of things, but every single one of them is about making a choice. They're not easy to, I'll just heal. I'm going to take 99 potions. Now you only have so many. So it's up to you. Are you ready to tackle that next fight? You may not be. You might be tired. But at any point, you can quick travel back to an Inquisition camp, refill, restock, rest up, and heal.
That inventory management kind of...
Yeah, exactly. So making you make some more longer-term tactical decisions about how you'd stock up. And then coupling that with abilities that allow you to build up almost a reserve of almost fake hit points like Guard. There's a barrier ability a mage can use that protects the whole party and gives them kind of a temporary buffer against damage.
Okay.
Each of these are like preparatory abilities that allow you to kind of get ready for the battle.
Yeah, right. I mean, I almost feel like you're telling me there's so many things in there, and I'm too excited. I'm way too excited for this thing.
It's a huge game, and it's been really a massive undertaking. And it's coming out here in Australia. You'll see it end of November. Worldwide, we're coming out. People have already got pre-orders up on Xbox One. You can pre-download it now. Yeah. So it's real, and for us, happening. It's like, holy crap, we're almost done. And it's pretty spectacular, and I'm really excited. It's one of those, like, at the end of the day, ultimately, this all comes down to this is a video game we made, and I really hope everyone likes it.
Yeah, well, I think you're on the right track to get everyone to like it.
Yeah.
Is there anything on the gameplay demo you want to see?
You can get an awesome sense of just a good final note here of the scale.
Oh, dear.
Right, so that's where we've been running around. Devin's been kind of careening about, but like there's a whole city over there. There's massive encampments. If you go down a little further to the lower left there. So
the size of that map reminds me that I will not have a life come next month.
It's true. It's a very big game. Lots of time to play. And the thing is, this is one region. There's a lot more to go into. So huge opportunities to explore. World map.
There's a world map here. Yeah.
Yeah. Take you over into Orlais. We haven't unlocked any of those places just yet, but here we are.
And is this playable on the PAX floor?
So we have it. If you come up to the EA Lounge, you can actually stand in line. We have, I think it's 12 stations set up. It's upstairs. It's a little tucked away, but you can find it out. And we have groups of people going through and playing it right now. They're actually in this area, so they get to go hands-on with it. Try the combat, let us know. We're getting some really good feedback. So.
Awesome, and there's less lag back up the EA Lounge, of
bit,
course.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, Devin doesn't have to
Devin's trying
there.
to get back there.
No, he's been doing good. I think we cleaned the problem up.
Yeah,
so.
he's shown a lot of good little features off.
Yep.
Is there anything, the one thing that you want to get across about Dragon Age Inquisition?
I think ultimately it's that the way I see it is it's the Dragon Age we've wanted to make for a very long time. Where the new engine has overcome a lot of technical hurdles. It's the visuals that made the art team giddy. Finally, they took the feathers off. Well, yeah, let's run. And on top of that, for us, it's this massive scale and scope. And I think it sets kind of a direction for where BioWare's headed, which is to not lose our narrative roots. This is something Aaron Flynn's been really clear about. He doesn't want to lose it, but he wants us to make the best stories that you can play, right? Big, engaging, rich, character-driven narratives, but ones where you're always involved in the action, where you're playing them, you're not passively observing. And so everything we've done here, from you choose how you're going to go to the next place, you go to certain areas or don't, all those things are part of that freedom that we want players to have, so that when they're sharing their experience, it's like you and I can talk about our game and they're different. And that to me is really powerful.
That brings me back to the RPGs of old, where you'd go, I went this path, and then your friend would go, no, you have to do it this way, surely.
Surely. But, and you're like, no, I beat the ogre because I'm way better at combat than you are, right? Yeah, exactly.
It all comes down to that. Well, that's fantastic. Dragon Age Inquisition comes out
You'll
next
see
month.
It'll be end of November. I think it's November 20th here in Australia, November 18th in North America.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate your time. You've had Devin.
Good
Devin's
job
a
driving.
superstar behind it all.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Devin.
All right.
Mike Laidlaw, creative director
you
at
so
Dragon
much.
Age Inquisition. Give him a clap. Give him a clap.
Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.